South Africa is celebrating. The country will soon be hosting the World Cup, the world's premier soccer tournament. Africa has never staged such a major international sporting event. South Africa is a fast-growing, developing country. It is rich in natural resources such as gold and rare metals. Its mining and manufacturing industries are thriving. Many global companies have their offices in this country. Growing as prosperous as developed countries, South Africa has become a magnet for people from other parts of Africa. Seeing it as the promised land, many of them arrive in this border town every day. This group crossed the border from neighboring Zimbabwe. In the past, the South African government would have immediately deported these people. But under radical policy changes made in 2009, they are now accepted as immigrants and granted work permits.
Anything, because there's many opportunities that's
In fact, the government is pursuing a deliberate strategy of welcoming a virtually unlimited number of migrants. South Africa wants to capitalize on the cheap labor of its poor neighbor to stimulate further economic growth. Its promotion of a borderless economy is attracting a lot of attention.
You cannot stop migration. What you need to do is to manage it, and the countries that have reaped the most benefits of the process are those that have managed it.
But problems have also cropped up. Conflict between the growing number of immigrants and local residents is escalating. South Africa has taken a bold step by accepting foreign workers on an unprecedented scale. What lies ahead for the Rainbow Nation? This series of programs is about the African dream. Today, we focus on South Africa, the continent's leading economic power. Every day, more immigrants arrive, hoping for a better life. We look at where that dream is taking the country. To the north of South Africa is Zimbabwe. A barbed wire fence stretches over 200 kilometers along the border. It used to carry a high voltage electric current. But now the electricity has been turned off and the fence is largely symbolic. Some crawl under the fence. Others jump over it. An exodus of Zimbabweans is crossing into South Africa. The fence jumpers head for an immigration reception center nearby. Every day, as many as 1,000 Zimbabweans turn up here to apply for work permits in South Africa. Most of them are in their 20s and 30s. They don't have a passport because they can't afford it. The application process is simple. Photographs, fingerprints, and a short interview. In order to secure cheap labor, South Africa has introduced a new policy to allow virtually unlimited immigration from Zimbabwe. Since both countries were former British colonies, language is seldom a problem. Many people can speak English.
Right. How do you feel? Yeah, I'm still happy. You're happy? Yeah, sure. Yeah. What do you do now? I'm going to find some work. I'm going to find some work. I'm feeling happy. Now I'm a free man. I can do what I want, study, everything, look for a job. Yeah.
Musina is South Africa's border town, where the reception center is located. Migrants arriving here seeking a better life call this place Gate to Heaven. Having completed the work permit procedures, the new arrivals pile into a truck. The truck has been sent to pick up workers. Zimbabwe has gone bankrupt. Most of these people were unable to find a job in their home country. They are taken to a plantation. It is one of the largest farms in Africa and employs more than 5,000 migrant workers. farm is taking advantage of immigrant labor to produce and export globally competitive crops. The command is given, and the workers all race to harvest avocados. Some climb the trees to collect as many as possible.
How come you're so fast, man? Why are you so fast?
It all happens at a furious pace. If the pickers collect more than 18 sacks a day, they get paid extra for every additional sack. The more avocados they bring in, the more money they can make. That's why they are working so hard.
The situation of the family is now poor. So if I work hard, I think it becomes a family of rich. Yeah. I want to be a rich man. So I will be a rich if I work hard. Yeah.
Why are people coming to South Africa in such large numbers? Foreign media are strictly controlled in Zimbabwe, but we were allowed to enter the country. We visited a suburb of the capital city where many of South Africa's immigrants come from. People eke out a living selling vegetables and household goods in front of their homes. Zimbabwe's economy collapsed in 2008 when the country suffered hyperinflation that topped 200 million%. The unemployment rate is over 90%. And finding a job is next to impossible, even for those who have education and skills.
I was a builder. Ndakaona muindustry macho zvinhu zvaisanyatsoufamba zvakanaka.
Before just working to another, it was a computer company in town. That's where I was working before. Just discovered that just to stay at home and cry and cry and cry, you see, it would be a very big problem.
The devastation to Zimbabwe's economy is widely seen as the result of years of misrule by an authoritarian government. We visited a woman whose daughter and son-in-law had just left for South Africa.
Hello. How are you? All right. Okay. Are you up in your...
Joyce Maroa, 54 years old, looks after a family of 5, including her 2 grandchildren. She says her 2-year-old granddaughter Chantel is always crying since her parents left.
Who does she look like?
Joyce's family eats only once a day, and sometimes not at all. She earns a meager living selling food on the street.
Hello, Chantal. Magadi.
The family is pinning its hopes on getting money from the two who have gone to South Africa.
Zvazvinonesa zvokuti mumba kana mukashaya chekudya mukarufaro hamuna kusununguka kana amadya ndipo munonzwa kufara manje asi kana musina kudya vana vese vanenge vakasuwa kana vemubiri kunenge vakasuwa nokuti munenge musina chikafu nekuvato vachararama sei vachaita sei.
We are back in the border town of Musina, point of entry for many Zimbabweans. Here, we met Joyce's son-in-law. His name is Amos Muchokore, 29 years old. He is doing a day labor job to earn the money he needs to travel to Johannesburg, the biggest city in South Africa. Amos is a well-educated man who studied electrical engineering in university. But he could not find a job in his country.
Yeah, he's a technician. If I get one as a technician at a company that will pay me a lot, yeah, I would go for that one. Yeah, I'm the head. I've got 2 kids there in Zim, so they need my support. If I'm not working, they will starve to death. They will starve with hunger. That's why I had to move here. I had no man to feed them in Zim.
He is supposed to be here with his wife, Joyce's daughter. But she is not here. In fact, disaster struck when the couple tried to cross the border. It happened when Amos and his wife Tracy were about to jump over the fence. The guide who accompanied the couple suddenly called up a gang who abducted them. The border area is a hunting ground for bandits who prey on migrants. Amos and Tracy were robbed of all the money and possessions they had brought to start a new life. The couple later became separated. Amos was able to slip away from his abductors, but he doesn't know what happened to his wife.
There were knives and those big things to beat people. They even beat me there at the place during my wife's present. Well, yeah, we won't remember anything. Just nightmares. We just thinking, how am I going to get to Joburg, Johannesburg? How am I going to meet my wife? When and how? That will be in my mind.
A long-distance bus is heading for Johannesburg. All the passengers are Zimbabwean immigrants who dream of striking it rich in the big city. Amos is on board. He has had news about his wife's whereabouts. Her uncle had called. The uncle told Amos that the gang had contacted him and he had negotiated Tracy's release. Amos arrives in Johannesburg, where Tracy's uncle lives. He heads straight to the uncle's house, where his wife is being cared for. Some of the bandits' victims are left with deep scars on their bodies. Others suffer from emotional trauma. Amos can't stop worrying about what might have happened to his wife. The couple never expected to see each other again. Johannesburg is South Africa's economic center with a population of 7 million. Most of the new arrivals who risk everything to cross the border come to the city to chase their dreams. Recently, the city's landscape has undergone a major change. Vast slums are expanding across the suburbs. The foreigners pouring into Johannesburg are settling in these areas. There are now said to be more than 3 million immigrants in South Africa. The country changed its immigration policy in 1994, when the all-white government handed over the reins of power to a black leader for the first time. President Nelson Mandela established friendly relations with neighboring countries and gradually began opening the door to migrants. This approach was part of a deliberate strategy to attract workers to the country. South Africa's gross domestic product per capita is 15 times that of Zimbabwe. Very few neighboring countries in the world have such a wide gap. South Africa decided to capitalize on this disparity to promote economic growth, opening its border to encourage the influx of foreigners. The huge number of workers from Zimbabwe has served as a cheap yet high-quality labor force. Consumption by immigrants has pushed up domestic demand, creating more tax revenue.
We don't see migration as a nuisance to be combated because we understand that you cannot stop migration. What we need to do is to manage it, and the countries that have reaped the most benefits of the process are those that have managed it rather than those that have tried to combat and to control it.
In Johannesburg, companies are increasingly hiring migrant workers. Vusi Ndolovu is one such business owner. He is heading for the city center. He is looking to hire foreign staff with good skills.
Just desperate to get my job. That's why they get anything that comes along them, they just get it. Maybe a technician. We find the technician is end of the day is doing the wrong job that he was not doing maybe in Zimbabwe. Because some of them are skilled, they know these jobs.
One of his employees begins handing out flyers.
We're looking for tailors, people that are fortunate.
All right.
So we're handing over these pamphlets so that anyone who knows how to sew, we are giving him that opportunity to call us.
Vusi has hired 15 immigrants to work at a subcontract sewing factory. The factory is making jackets that security staff will wear at the World Cup. The company turned to foreign workers because of global competition. To compete against cheap clothes from China, it had to substantially reduce its labor costs. Wages for South Africans are surging, so this couldn't be done by hiring local workers. Vusi decided to recruit foreigners.
Yes, it has helped me because we do get experiences from people that come from Zimbabwe, people that come from Mozambique. They come with the skills that maybe here we don't have. And we do accept them in our society. And it has helped a lot because through learning skills from other people from different countries, it's quite beneficial for us.
This is a slum on the outskirts of Johannesburg. The reunited couple, Amos and Tracy, are starting their new life here. Their dwelling is a small shack at the back of their landlord's house. It has only one room, that's about 6.5 square meters. There is no kitchen, no toilet, no bathroom.
Yeah, that's great.
But now, at long last, they can go hunting for jobs. Two weeks have passed since they left their hometown. They are now getting worried about their family in Zimbabwe, who are waiting for money. Amos soon finds work. He was hired by a car wash chain. The company employs many Zimbabweans, a policy that has helped it to grow rapidly. At a morning meeting, the manager gives a pep talk to the staff.
Good morning, guys. How are you? Today I think it's a lovely day, sun is rising. We have to watch more cars. I think we watch more cars because put more pressure, watch more cars. The more you watch more cars, the more you get more, okay?
The car washers then head to a parking lot at a shopping center. They approach customers arriving at the store and ask if they want their car washed. The vehicles are cleaned while their owners do their shopping. Times are good for businesses serving South Africa's growing middle class. Amos has never worked in the service industry. He puts on his best smile to win over the customer.
Hi, how are you?
How are you?
What's your good?
He works really hard because he gets a 50% commission for each car washed. He also helps with the shopping bags. That earns him a tip. Today, Amos took home just over 1,600 yen, a small amount in South Africa, but more than twice the daily income of a civil servant in Zimbabwe.
Yeah, I feel great. I just feel now I'm somewhere. I'm in another level because now I'm working. When I got the job, I just feel great. Now I'll be having my own money, my own pocket money. Even I'll be looking after my family here or even in yeah.
The migrant workforce has turned Johannesburg into an increasingly vibrant city. But the huge influx of people has caused problems as well. These derelict buildings in the city center have been illegally occupied by immigrants. The squatters are holding up plans to redevelop the area. Drug traffickers are also reported to be operating in the buildings. The city authorities have sent in a private security group known as the Red Ants. Their mission is to evict the squatters. Household appliances and furniture are carried out. More than 1,000 immigrants have been living in the two buildings.
I didn't expect this in South Africa just because I was knowing that South Africa people are good. But now this is very terrible.
There's a more serious problem, one that could destabilize the country. This is a slum on the outskirts of Johannesburg, where the poorest South Africans live. The slum residents are venting their anger. Many of them lost jobs after the local gold mine hired foreign workers. Police officers begin firing tear gas. The residents respond by throwing stones. Anti-immigration riots are spreading across South Africa.
So how can you get jobs like that? How come? That's why we fight in the head,
We are tired with that people. We don't want those people in this profession anymore.
South Africa achieved economic growth by accepting foreign workers. But at the same time, it has created a social challenge. To help solve the problem, the South African government is in talks with international agencies that deal with migration issues. South African representatives made it clear that although the country will look for solutions, it will not restrict the number of immigrants. They said South Africa intends to keep its borders open to neighboring countries to create an integrated economy.
Migration enhances economic development in the country. We need to view it positively, but also it enhances the humanity of our people. Negative sentiments do arise, which we need to continue to manage.
Still busy washing cars, Amos is now looking for a new job. He wants to use the electrical engineering skills he acquired at university. On this day, he is visiting electric appliance stores in the neighborhood.
How are you? Fine. I'm looking for a vacancy. I'm a cell phone repair.
You're looking for?
A vacancy, job vacancy. I'm a cell phone. A job.
Job?
Yeah.
A job. Where do you come from?
I come from Zimbabwe.
Check next time. Now I'm sorry. I don't know this.
Okay.
He was turned down the moment he said he was from Zimbabwe. Low-paying menial jobs are easy to get. Jobs that require special skills and pay well are much harder to find for immigrants. One of the most important places for Johannesburg's foreign community is this coach terminal. Buses to Zimbabwe run from here. Not everyone is catching a bus. It is from here that people send food, furniture, and money to their families back in Zimbabwe. They pay a fee to the coach driver, who delivers the bags to the destination. Amos and Tracy have come too. The car washing job has allowed them to save up some money. Today, they are sending food for their family. The food and transport cost the couple all the money they have saved for 3 weeks, 10,000 yen. But for the time being, they won't have to worry so much about their family in Zimbabwe.
Here in South Africa, I'm not here to rest. I'm here to work for my family at home. Maybe maybe I'll take off after one day for after 1 month. For 30 days, I'll just choose 1 day off. Yeah, I think it's okay with me. So that I will not get lost, and I will not use my money for nothing.
The coaches are a lifeline for the immigrant families. The total value of goods sent back home is estimated at around 32 billion yen, roughly 10% of Zimbabwe's gross domestic product. The goods and money sent across the border are supporting Zimbabwe's economy. The package from Amos has been delivered to his family. He has sent rice, flour, salt, and other items, enough to support the family for a month. They cook a meal with the rice. Chantel, the couple's daughter, loves rice. This is the first time in a year she's eating it.
kutumidzira kwaita chikapi zvino zvachinja zvekuti takutoti kamuka kuseni tikada kubika uchimubhakiwa saizvo tikabika raisi mazuva anotofamba.
Inside the package was a letter to Tracy's mother, Joyce.
Ndinoiva kuti vakasimba chaivo zvinhu kuno zvakange zvisina kumira zvakanaka pamazuva ekutanga asi iye zvino zvainani nekuchecha ave kushanda ndinokumbira uregero nokunonoka kutumira zvinhu asi ndinoimba kuti nepashoma pandatumira munomborarama. Mama ruregero handisisina mari dai ndakutengera matenesi negumbezi renyu saka tumani.
Amos has been working hard washing cars every day. But he thinks he should start his own business if he wants to make good money. He decided to visit a mobile phone repair shop in the neighborhood. The owner of the shop is also an immigrant. He opened it after noticing the rapid spread of mobile phones in the country. Amos, who studied electrical engineering at university, spoke to the owner about his dream.
But I need to be into this business.
Do you like to start your business same like me? Come to me, I will help you from my heart. But if really do you interested to start your business?
I always come to you for some instructions or something if I want to know something.
The owner agreed to let Amos study under him. While sending goods and money back home, Amos hopes to save money so he can open a shop of his own.
Maybe I will have many shops of electronics. Many shops. I think I will have many shops here in South Africa. That's my big dream. In time to come, I have to take them with me so that they will have a better education here in South Africa, so that they will see me and the mother. That's my dream. I want them to be here with me.
Other countries are watching South Africa's open border policy with close interest. Slowly but surely, the immigrants are moving closer to their common goal of making a better life. Their ambition is the driving force for economic growth in South Africa and in their homeland. The migration of people from poor to relatively rich nations has become a steady flow. It is reshaping Africa.